a little bit. It's great to see you in your attic, but we'll see you at the chamber soon.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. I'm telling you, it's tough up in this attic here. But yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to joining you all over there. It's I'm by way of background, as you could tell, but I have a varied background. But mostly, it's what connects it all is public service and working within the community. You know, I started in the nonprofit world, and maybe I was little then, but it was in 1973. Worked at a place called Portland House, working with convicted felons and helping them get back to work and the like. And then I've served as either executive director or director in about 3 other nonprofits before I went over to corporate world, and I spent 26 years there. But all along, I truly believe in public service in the sense of sitting on boards and communities. I've been on the library board and governor's task force and juvenile justice years ago, and like and the Met Council is always one that it's kind of sometimes under the radar, but you impact everybody. And I think it's just especially someone who likes community and likes policy, it's kind of a good place for me to land. And when the spot opened up, you know, I should take a shot at it. And so I'm really pleased that it turned out well. I've had the privilege of working with Charlie on lighting the Stone Arch Bridge way back when, and and doing work along the river. And as he mentioned, I have done more recently workforce inclusion and diversity, as well as closing the gap there. And I worked with a team we called Workforce Next, and it was the largest organizations established by and for communities of color. So it's American Indian OIC, Northwest Indian OIC, Summit Academy, Urban League, Blues, LEDC, CAPI, Hmong American Partnership, and we really just look at how we work together and moving the agenda along, and how we're capturing that success, if you will, and how do we treat it. So again, I'm really looking forward to this. I can tell I was looking at the district, and I'm really pleased that you have little going on there, so I have time to kind of catch up and relax. But again, I'm really thankful and looking very enthusiastically about getting back in the game here. I can answer any of the questions too.
Any questions, anybody? Well, you know, we'll have a chance to again visit one-on-one together soon. But again, welcome, and we don't want to scare you off. We're actually are thrilled at so much of the good work that this council does. And as you can see, looking across this Zoom room, you know, we have a diverse geographically in all respects, and that is a great strength, I think, for our group. So welcome.
All right, thank you. But I'm gonna have to jump off. I got to meet a school. I got to meet a school bus.
Hey,
I didn't have this on my agenda yet this week.
Anybody who's running for a bus, we give you a pass. That's just fine.
Well, I take the number 6 to work downtown all the time, so I know my buses.
There you go. Perfect. We'll see you soon.
Again.
Take care. You bet. Bye. Bye-bye. All right, this is the part of the agenda we have set aside for public invitation for those that have pre-registered. And if you're listening from the public, we invite you to pre-register for meetings by emailing public.info@metc.state.mn.us. You can also always just send comments by email. And Bridget, unless you correct me, I don't believe we have anybody pre-registered for today. So then we'll jump into our consent agenda, which has been sent out in advance. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Johnson moves.
Wolf seconds.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none. Bridget, please call the roll.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Shambla. Cummings.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lee, Lee, Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Turner,
Aye.
Bento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Zarin, Chair Zelli.
Aye. The motion carries. On to the reports of standing committees. And first up is the Community Development. Council Member Lilligren.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Community Development brings one item for our consideration this evening. It's business item 2022-40. It's the Livable Communities Local Housing Incentive Account Award Recommendations, or LHIA. The recommendation is to award $8 million in LHIA funding to support 6 multifamily rental and 4 single-family ownership development projects. And Mr. Chair, with your permission, first I would like for Ms. Ashley Johnson from our staff to present on the projects recommended for award this year. And Ashley is a senior planner. She's presented to us before, and she's here to provide that presentation, Mr. Chair.
Great. Welcome, Ashley. I'd love to hear your presentation.
Thank you, Chair Zelli. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So good afternoon. I am Ashley Johnson. I am the manager of the Local Housing Incentives Account, or LHIA, on the Livable Communities Act team. And here we have our 2021 funding recommendations. We gave this presentation earlier this month to the Community Development Committee, or CDC, and we are excited to share our project recommendations with you today. Next slide, please. So today's presentation has 3 parts. First, I will give a brief overview of the LHIA application and evaluation process, and then we'll hop into the funding recommendations and then get into individual projects in our project summary section. Next slide, please. Okay, our application and evaluation process. So here you can see 3 buckets or categories of applications that we consider in our application process. So first, and on the left, as always, since the start of LHIA, we consider applications to Minnesota Housing's Consolidated Requests for Proposals, or the Consolidated RFP. And these applications, they're requesting both state funding resources, so such as LIHTC or low income housing tax credit funds or housing infrastructure bonds, and LHIA. So moving to the middle bucket, by working with our partners at Minnesota Housing for 2021, we were able to allow applications to the RFP for projects only requesting LHIA funds, which was really exciting. And this allowed us to consider projects that have been awarded Minnesota Housing funds in prior years, but had an additional gap to fill, or projects that were being primarily subsidized with resources outside of Minnesota Housing, but had additional gaps to fill. And then on the right, since 2018, we've also considered projects receiving low-income housing tax credits from suballocators. And so that's not from Minnesota Housing for LHIA awards. And suballocators are City of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Washington, and Dakota counties. So moving to our little circle in the middle, we review all applications for their ability to meet LHIA priorities from these 3 areas or buckets of where applications come from. And what we're checking for is that projects provide rental housing at or below 30% of AMI. We're looking for proposals that serve large families by providing 3 or more bedroom units. Proposals serving those experiencing long-term homelessness, and LHIA provides gap funding for these projects for hard costs specifically. We also consider how well a proposal meets the applicant's city that need for affordable housing over the 2021 to 2030 decade. So we look at affordable housing need as a policy area as well. Next slide, please. So we'll hop into our funding recommendations, and I'll pause in a little bit, but let's hop into the funding recommendations. We'll begin by showing the number of applications submitted and recommended for funding by us in Minnesota Housing through the 2021 Consolidated RFP process. So as you can see on the left, those are the applications submitted in the metro region. And then on the right, those were what was recommended for funding. So about 31 applications you can see on the total row at the bottom went unfunded this year, which illustrates the sustained need for affordable housing in our region. Next slide, please. So before we get into the full slate of LHIA award recommendations, this slide reminds us of the funding available for 2021. 2021 was another unprecedented year in terms of LHIA funding. In 2019, we had 2.5 million. In 2020, we had 5.5 million. So, and the base amount for this account is 1.5 million. So this year, we are proposing to fund 6 multifamily rental projects and 4 single-family ownership projects with 8 million in LHIA grants. So we have a breakdown of specific projects and dollar amounts on the next slide. So here is an overview of our LHIA funding recommendations for this year. So the project names are on the left, the city or the applicant is listed in the middle, and the funding amounts are on the right. So that's 6 multifamily rental at the top and then 4 single-family ownership projects at the bottom. And the multifamily rental projects range from Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Louis Park, Rogers, and Edina. And our single family ownership projects, we have 3, oh, I think the slide changed. You mind going back to the previous slide? Yep, okay. We have 3 scattered site projects at the bottom in the single family ownership area. And those are in Washington, Dakota County, and suburban Hennepin County. We have 1 project in St. Louis Park. Again, projects that are funded by Minnesota Housing and being recommended for funding by LHIA are italicized. And on the next few slides, we'll look at these projects one by one. But we wanted to outline on this slide something very special. You'll see on this slide that some of these projects are bold. And these are projects that would not have been able to be recommended for funding if the council had not supplemented LHIA funding with strategic equity dollars. And last year. So the additional 4 million that council allocated to LHIA allowed us to fund 6 additional proposals in Minneapolis, Edina, St. Louis Park, suburban Hennepin, and Washington County. So those are the bold ones. And this allowed for more impact on creating a full range of housing choices throughout the region. This funding also allowed us to fund an additional 345 rental units and 19 additional affordable homeownership opportunities. And 34 of these units are available at 30% or below, at or below 30% of the area median income. And I'll pause here in case there are any questions on this slide or on our application process.
Any questions for Ashley?
All right, next slide, please. So a summary of these projects are included at the end of the committee report beginning on page 9. But before going through these projects, we have 2 housekeeping notes. So first, we have 3 revisions that staff have identified on the business item between our February presentation and today. So these are noted on the second page of the committee report, but I wanted to note that the city of St. Paul was listed on page 9 as the local match provider for the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority family housing expansion process or project instead of the city of Minneapolis. Second, the applicant for Minnetonka Boulevard redevelopment, which is a single family project, was listed as the City of St. Louis Park CDA instead of St. Louis Park EDA. And lastly, finally, in the program summary of page 17, the applicant has been changed from West Hennepin Affordable Housing Land Trust to the City of Minnetonka for West Hennepin Affordable Land Trust. So those three housekeeping notes for the business item. And then before hopping into the projects, I'd like us to keep in mind LHIA's priorities, rental housing for people with incomes at or below 30% of AMI, which is about $31,000 a year, and then for income, and then proposals that serve large families by providing 3 or more bedroom units, those experiencing long-term homelessness, and then that LHIA provides gap funding for the projects. Okay, so our first project that we are recommending for funding is Minneapolis Public Housing Authority Family Housing Expansion, or MPHA Family Housing Expansion Project. So this project we're recommending for $1.4 million. And this is a really cool project. It's a new construction of 4 to 6 unit buildings, and that's over 16 sites across the city of Minneapolis. So you can see what some of these buildings may look like previously and what they like to do in terms of new construction at the bottom of the image there. So that's 84 total units of affordable housing at or below 30% of AMI. And they will also serve high priority homeless individuals and provide housing vouchers. And these units will be 2 to 3 bedroom. Next slide, please. Our next recommendation is Mary Hall in the city of St. Paul. And we are recommending this project for about 1.2 million. And this is a preservation project. So we will, the plan is to renovate this building and provide supportive housing. So 88 units, all affordable at or below 30% of AMI. And this project will serve people exiting Ramsey County's coordinated entry system and also provide permanent supportive housing. And this site, Mary Hall, will have 24/7 on-site services and will provide efficiency and 1 bedroom units. Next slide, please. Our third multifamily project is Rise on 7, and this is in St. Louis Park. We're recommending $950,000 for this project. It's a new construction project with 120 units of affordable housing. The units range. This is a mixed income property, but all affordable. Between 30 to 70% of AMI, and it'll serve high priority homeless individuals and include an early childhood center and commercial space in the building. And the units are 1 to 3 bedroom, and Rise on 7 was supported also by LCDA funds. So across LCA programs, we have supported this project, Rise on 7 in St. Louis Park. Next slide, please. Next, we have Currie Commons in Minneapolis, and we're recommending that to be awarded $1.25 million. It is a new construction project of 187 units, affordable at or below 30 to 80% AMI. And this project will serve high priority homeless individuals, persons with disabilities, and families with children. So a great mix of people will live in this building, and the units are efficiency to 3 bedrooms, so a range of size units as well, and include MPHA vouchers. Next slide, please. So the next 2 projects are senior projects. So Rogers Main Street Senior Housing, we're recommending this project for $1.5 million. It is also a new construction project with 40 units of affordable housing for seniors at or over the age of 55 years old. And the affordability range is 30 to 50 AMI. And this project aims to provide permanent supportive housing and also include a senior sitter in the building. The unit sizes are between efficiency and 2 bedrooms. Next slide, please. Our last single-family or our last multifamily project recommendation is Cornelia View Apartments, and we are recommending about 712,000 to Cornelia and Edina. And this is a new construction project of 118 units, affordable at or below 30 to 80% of AMI, also for seniors, serving high priority homeless and providing permanent supportive housing. So seniors will have on-site services in this project, and the units are between 1 to 2 bedroom. Next slide, please. Hopping over to our single family project recommendations, we have 4 of these. The first is Minnetonka Boulevard Redevelopment in St. Louis Park, and we're recommending about 257,000. And this is a homeownership project, new construction, and this is for 8 units in 4 twin homes. So twin homes are, I just learned what these are. They're identical homes on 2 different lots. I've never seen this before, but I thought it was really cool. And they will be affordable at or below 80% of AMI, and each of the twin homes will have 3 to 4 bedrooms. Next slide, please. So our next proposal is Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity, another unique project, collaboration between Dakota County and Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity, where they have a number of lots lots and homes that they have acquired, and they aim to rehab those homes. And it's a really cool partnership. We are recommending funding for $500,000 to support the development of 10 homes, affordable at or below 80% AMI. And these homes will be 3 bedrooms, and you can see the list of potential cities that Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity aims to build these lots based on where Dakota County has identified and acquired them. Next slide, please. This is a proposal for homes within reach in suburban Hennepin County. We are recommending $180,000 for this project. It is a purchase, rehab, and resale. So this is a community land trust project for 12 single-family homes. So these will be affordable in perpetuity. So at or below 80% of AMI, and this proposal is for 5-bedroom homes. So a really cool land trust project with a lot of bedrooms. Next slide, please. Our last single family project recommendation is Own Street Home in Washington County. We're recommending $90,000 for this proposal. It is also a community land trust project of purchasing, rehabbing homes and reselling them. And you can see the cities: Forest Lake, Hugo, Oakdale. And these are 3-bedroom homes at or below 80% AMI, but for Own Street Home, they're targeting between 50 and 70% AMI. So we're really excited to see that deeper affordability in our ownership arena. Okay, so next slide, please. So heading into wrapping up, these are our 2021 anticipated outcomes for our grant funds. On the left, we have the amount funded for 2021, which is $8 million, which is estimated to leverage 88 million in private and 112 in public investment. So we really looked into the pro formas or the workbooks of these projects and added up all of those dollars that are also going into these projects that our money is leveraging. So we are proposing to build 557 new affordable housing units this year with LHIA funds, and that includes 549 new rental units and 8 new homes, 25 housing units of new or of preserved or rehabbed homes this year. And then on the right, you can see our total LHIA awards to date and how this year kind of is an unprecedented year for LHIA. So next slide, please. So it was a joy, a true joy to review these projects and to work in partnership with Minnesota Housing and our sub-allocators this year. And this concludes my presentation. I'm open to answer any questions, and Tara and Lisa are also here to jump in as well. Thank you, Council. And now I'll turn over to Council Member Lilligren to make the funding recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for your report and for your work on this, and to the whole team. We get to these recommendations, and I know it represents hours and hours of effort and work and engaging with our partners, who we're grateful that they partner with us as well. And so, Mr. Chair, at this time, if any council members have questions, otherwise I'm prepared to make a motion.
Any questions? I know I have just a couple questions, actually. This is such a great presentation. It's so wonderful to see these beautiful structures. I mean, this is, I think it's kind of exciting in that we're doing deep affordability down to 30% AMI. When we have a project like Mary Hall and you refer to on-site services, what kind of, and I noticed maybe that's true in some others, but not all of them. What kind of services are those? And is that closely aligned with the county, or is that something the project itself does?
Yeah, so Chair Zelli, that is oftentimes collaborated with the county. And for Mary Hall in particular, some of these services are for those with substance abuse challenges, particularly also like family services for those that are connected with foster care systems, and then for those that have physical or intellectual disabilities. There are on-site services to try to support communities based on what a particular family or individual, in Mary Hall's case, has challenges with. So for that particular project, I believe it's substance abuse or substance challenges, and those with physical and intellectual disabilities. But for other projects, it varies.
Great, that answers a lot. And also, my other quick question, and this is, others here will understand this, but I sometimes get confused. When a developer, say the Minneapolis Housing, is bringing vouchers, are these project vouchers, or are they just part of their regular vouchers?
Yeah, these are project-based vouchers.
Okay.
But some of them are project-based vouchers, and some projects are just saying we will accept vouchers. So it's a mix.
Okay. It's a mix. Okay. All right. Depends. Any other questions for anyone? Molly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Ashley. Great presentation. And just again with definitions, what is high priority homeless individual? What does that mean?
Yeah, through the chair, first I wanted to clarify that they're not all our vouchers.
Right,
Tara
right.
wanted to note that. But for high priority homeless individuals, these are those that are considered chronically homeless in the system. So those individuals that either have entered and exited the system multiple times, and they have they're considered to have high barriers, whether it's a combination of substance issues, or they need some type of extra support. So it's a combination of things, but mostly those that are chronically homeless and need that extra supportive housing in projects such as these. And I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, Council Member Lilligren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that the Metropolitan Council first award 10 local housing incentive account grants as shown in Table 1 of the Community Development Committee report totaling $8 million for affordable housing projects. And secondly, that we authorize the Community Development Director to execute the grant agreements on behalf of the council.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Bento seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any last discussion questions? All right, hearing none. Bridget, call the roll.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye. Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Sorry, I'm having a problem with my screen. Okay, Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lee. Lilligren.
Aye.
Lindstrom.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Vento.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Zarin. Chair Zelli.
Aye, that motion carried. And congratulations to the whole team, Ashley, for the great presentation. This was wonderful work. Well, that takes us to the Environment Committee. Councilmember Lindstrom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Today we have business item 2022-41. This requests the adoption of the facilities plan for the new Hastings wastewater treatment plant. This is project number 809800. And this proposed facility plan recommends relocating the Hastings wastewater treatment plant from downtown Hastings to council-owned property at 2445 Ravenna Trail in Hastings. This new location will allow the plant to expand to meet long-term growth and future regulatory requirements. Work of the facility plan is grouped into 3 categories. We have a new lift station and conveyance system. We have the new plant itself, and then decommissioning of the old or the existing wastewater treatment plant. We're going to have construction here from 2024 through 2028. And this facility plan was available for public review starting in December 22nd, 2021, and we held a virtual public hearing on January 5th, where about 20 people attended. The public comment period ran from December 5th through January 18th, and we received a bunch of great questions about the decommissioning of the plant, noise and odor and things of that nature. Following adoption, the plan will be submitted to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency in conjunction with an application for placement on the project priority list for funding through the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund, beginning in fiscal year 2023. Therefore, Mr. Chair and members, I move that the Met Council adopt the facility plan for the Hastings wastewater treatment plant. Again, this is NCES project number 809800 per resolution number 2022-3.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Wolf seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember Wolf. Any questions, discussion? All right, I have heard that Hastings has great plans for the current location, so it's a positive move. All right, Bridget, you may call the roll.
Councilmember Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Thank you. Cummings.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lee. Lilligren.
Aye.
Lindstrom.
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Vento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Zarin, Chair Zelli.
Aye. That motion carried. Which brings us, oh, I'm sorry, no, the Management Committee. There are reports on the consent agenda. And that brings us to the Transportation Committee. Councilmember Barber.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, council members, business item number 2022-38 is regarding the approval of the Purple Line Engineering and Project Management Services contract. Public engagement and planning for the project dates to the late 1990s when the project was considering routes as far north as Hinckley through Rush City and has been ongoing ever since. A locally preferred alternative for a bus rapid transit line between downtown St. Paul and downtown White Bear Lake was recommended collectively in May 2017 and endorsed individually by the corridor municipalities and county later in 2017. In 2022, that endorsement was generally reaffirmed through municipal votes of support for the preliminary design plans. The local lead agency role effectively transferred from the county to the council in December 2021 when the FTA entered the project into the Federal Capital Investment Grants Program as a New Starts project. In late November, the White Bear Lake City Council failed to pass a resolution to pause the project. Last night, the White Bear Lake City Council tabled a resolution of opposition to the project after it was clear there were not enough votes to pass it. The council and the county will continue to engage with the city of White Bear Lake over their concerns with the project. This contract provides necessary consultant support to allow the council to advance the project the county has led for over 2 decades into revenue service and operation in the years to come. The contract's professional and technical expertise will be critical to assisting the council and its project partners to deliver the strongest possible project for the region. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to negotiate and execute contract 21P242 with Kimley Horn and Associates Incorporated to provide design, engineering, and project management services for the Metro Purple Line Bus Rapid Transit Project in an amount not to exceed $34,998,088.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, Vento seconds.
Thank you, Councilmember Vento. Any questions? Thoughts? All right, hearing none. Bridget, you may call the roll.
Councilmember Barber,
Aye.
Chandler,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Redson,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lee, Lilligren,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Vento,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Zarin, Chair Zelli.
Aye, that motion carried. Which brings us to our reports. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? All right, how about Mary is here, our regional administrator?
Hello, Mr. Chair. Today, just a shout out to our project team for the Green Line extension. It's been a crazy couple of weeks and kind of a stressful job, and they're working really hard, and I just want to make sure the council knows how dedicated and hard they're working.
Thank you for saying that. And how about Ann Bloodhart? You have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no report.
Well, that takes us to the end of the meeting. I will say, Councilmember Vento, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to ask a quick question about conversations related to when we might go back to in-person meetings. I don't want to push it, but I'm just curious as to whether or not there's anything going on.
take the first crack at that, and maybe Mary, you can follow up. There has been a conversation with the state, both the governor's office and MMB, to think about opening up state buildings in April. We'll probably get a notification of that soon. I think we'll generally follow the state, and that means that every agency would kind of manage its own kind of hybrid transition on its own. So I think that is something that we should be discussing among ourselves as to how comfortable we feel in terms of all the committee meetings, council meetings, advisory board meetings, and I foresee probably a transition period of some meetings in person, some meetings virtually, but it's a really good question. And I think we're kind of now, you'll see it in all sectors, are starting to think about what those dates are going to be. But I would say in the next, think about something in the next 60 days.
Mr. Chair, I'll just add to that a little bit. In today's agency leader call, very consistent with that in opening up state buildings for public access in kind of that mid to late April timeframe. In terms of public meetings, just a conversation about balancing public access with safety. The state wasn't ready to talk about masking and testing protocols yet, although the numbers are looking really good, and so they're trying to balance that again with safety concerns and having unvaccinated access into public buildings. So they weren't quite ready to talk about the masking and testing yet, but getting much closer, expecting probably even this week to announce a date for openings, public access to state buildings.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, Councilmember Fedson, is that your hand?
Councilmember Shambliss put her hand up before me, but if I'm happy to go. I was just going to say, I think it would be good to look at a hybrid option for, one, the general public. I know we don't have a lot of folks that participate in public hearings, but I think offering that, just observing or participating in the legislative process, I think that's a really useful outcome from the pandemic, letting people who may not be able to get to the headquarters, right, still participate in the meetings. And then the second thing is I hope you and leadership would consider even accommodating virtual or hybrid options for staff, just kind of reflecting on our first year at the headquarters. And a lot of times there was a lot of staff in the room, and, just knowing that they could be working on other stuff. And then in the event that their name was called or whatever, to help answer questions, maybe that's one thing we could do to sort of lighten the load on them. So,
Great thoughts. Yeah, great. Councilmember Chambliss, I'm sorry I didn't see your hand first.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Same topic. I think giving the staff, some flexibility would be very useful in a way that they can still, provide support and answer questions. Maybe a hybrid option there. Also, any consideration regarding social distancing for people that are in the audience, and also for council members. If we could do that, I think that would make things much more comfortable.
Yeah, great thoughts.
And then I have one other thing.
Sure.
And I don't know if this has been brought up, since I was having trouble logging in on the phone at the beginning, regarding the governor's appointment to District 6.
We had the great honor to have John Pacheco visit with us at the beginning, so I'm sorry you may have missed that.
Okay.
It's effective March 1st, so we will see him next week, but we're all thrilled, and those of us who know him know what he's had a lot, and I think he feels very enthusiastic.
Okay, and so let me put my comment in that I'm very excited to have him join our Met Council. From his background and the interviews that I watched, I was very impressed. And I think we'll definitely be getting him as an asset to our council.
And as the saying goes, he will hit the ground running, because there's plenty to do. Thanks. Any other thoughts? I just echo Mary's comment about the Green Line extension, the staff, the project team, and frankly, a lot of the executive group has been spending a lot of time thinking through how we can advance this project in a thoughtful way. And I would kind of extend that to a lot of council members. We all have a different kind of a relationship with the project, and I know we've all gotten emails from some constituents who say, you know, where are we exercising our fiduciary duties? And I know different council members are in different places, but there's a number who are really deeply engaged in this project, you know, it's on a daily basis. So I just want to thank those and everybody that, you know, we obviously didn't ask for a difficult budget overrun and kind of scrutiny it takes, but I think we're open to the scrutiny and we know that we have the right team addressing this. And I just feel very honored that we're in this room, you know, and that we're not going to leave until we kind of figure it out. So it's really a great testimony to all of us. And then on that note, unless there's anything else, I know we're going to see you all soon. I will also note that even though it's really cold, the sun is still out, and this just shows that, you know, I think spring's coming. So here we are at the end of a council meeting. We're not in the dark, so that's something different. And with that, we can be adjourned. We will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.